bunch of amazing stepmoms, and we really wanted to put this video together for everybody. First and foremost, because stepmoms need extra support. When I first became a stepmom, it was hard because nobody I knew was a stepmom at that time, and I just felt kind of alone, I guess. And basically what we're doing is we are going to start a stepmom support group at a place that I own. It's called the Funnery Playpark and Cafe, and we thought to help with that we would invite some other stepmoms to the table to talk about their experiences, and if there's any words of wisdom or just frustration, and there'll be a lot of that.
What do they say? They say that blended families have a higher rate of divorce than regular families whose divorce rate is already like astronomical. And as much as you don't want to say like, oh, it's never because of the kids. In blended families, you don't want to say it's the kids' fault, but the kids infuse an element of difficulty into a marriage that may not be there. I know when I first had kids, it was difficult enough, right? Just being married and having kids without having to now get into a parenting situation where you have to step back, sometimes you don't know your place. But how did you guys feel being instant stepmoms? I think that would be difficult. And you came from a pretty big family, so that had to help.
It did, especially because I remember my sisters being teenagers. Right. Also, I should mention, my stepkids are teenagers.
Okay.
So I started out with them being older.
Oh, okay.
So it's very different, I think, than from when children are younger. It's easier to bond with them, I guess.
Did you get a lot of pushback because they were older?
Not really, no. They were actually pretty great. It was just a lot of awkwardness, really. But we've grown. We've grown very close, myself with the other kids. And it's been nice. But we only see them every other weekend, right? So, yeah.
Whereas your stepchildren live at home with you full time, right?
Pretty much. And we're the primary parents, 90% of the time. We're really that permanent family for them, which some days has its rewards. We don't have that 50-50 week, but with that comes a lot of energy that's required to keep it going, because you do need breaks. I mean, any step parent, whether you're the mom or the dad, a step parent needs a break from it, because you're not the same. It's not the same as that biological effort that you will give endlessly, because you have it. You have that from a different place. And when it's a stepchild, it takes commitment to try with them no matter what, and also to keep your relationship strong as the thing that's going to bond you, because the kids don't. It's not like a biological family where people are in relationships maybe longer than they should be because of the kids. They're trying to figure it out, because your heart breaks thinking of the kids losing their bio parents as it is. When it's a step family, the kids aren't going to keep you together. If your relationship isn't strong and your relationship isn't the one that's being looked after, it doesn't matter. The kids aren't going to keep you together. Carving out those breaks that have been, I think, a lifeline for us.
Because I have found with my stepkids, this was before I had my own baby, but when they would go to their moms, which is her, it was a really great break. And that was the chance for my husband and I to have our own time and reconnect. With you guys not having that break, how do you cope with that? What do you do that helps you?
No, not really. That's the irony. I don't even drink that much.
As a stepmom, what I think is important is that you do take that time for yourself, like that self-care, right? Because it is such a challenging situation. And sometimes it doesn't bring out the best in you. I really need to take time away from everybody to just recharge.
I think as parents, as moms, I think we put ourselves last so much of the time that just becomes the natural thing to do. And by carving out that time, it almost feels selfish. I don't know, you almost feel guilty. It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I have moved past that guilt. I'm over the guilt because I know what happens when I don't. And I feel guiltier about my reactions sometimes.
Yeah.
when I push myself to that point of cracking.
We're in very similar positions, right? Because I have 2 kids and 2 kids brought into the marriage, same as you, and they were quite young as well. How do you deal, because sometimes I feel like I'm trying to be very even, right? And you almost are going out of your way to be very even with every single kid, but every single kid is different.
I think my experience has been coming to terms and having an awareness that I can't love them all the same way. Like, I think I've started to accept that I will love my kids literally no matter what they do, and the stepchild relationship takes more work. And it doesn't mean that I don't try or I don't care for their well-being or I don't want the best for them, but I'm not going to sit here anymore and feel bad that I can't love biologically for that child.
That's a really
I've kind of let that go.
Can you let me know how that works out? Because that would be a really good lesson for, I think, everybody to learn, me especially, because that's what I'm struggling with right now, is because I feel like if I don't love them all equally, I have somehow failed.
Again, being a stepmom I find so complicated because it brings up all these emotions in you that you are not even necessarily proud of or don't want to have, but they come up.
Well, and the problem is with society, to some extent, you've got like Disney villainizing every stepmom out there, right?
Sometimes I get her.
So how did everybody feel? Obviously everyone at this table, and you and I are kind of in a unique situation, but everyone has their stepmom's kids in their lives. Like, were you very careful not to tread on the biological mom's toes? Because that was a real concern for me at the beginning, because my stepkids, when I met them, they were little, they were 6, right? So I was very cognizant, maybe too much so at the risk of damaging my relationship with my stepkids, to be very cognizant of the fact that they never felt that I was trying to take over. Were you conscious of like the stepmom or the real mom potentially calling you up and going, don't do this?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't careful with my feelings at all.
No, honestly.
What? Did you think of me for like 2 seconds?
My mindset was, I'm taking on these kids, and I'm taking on these kids.
I wish I had that mindset, because I didn't for the first year, because I knew, well, our situation was a little bit different. I just didn't want her to feel, I don't know, maybe I was too worried about her feelings, and I should have been more worried about
Your relationship with
my
the kids.
relationship with the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, I really screwed that up.
I don't think so.
There's no